Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you guys have had your fill of caffeine and cupcakes, but we'll be sure not to put you to sleep. Welcome to SYN 117, Journey to the Cloud. I'm Andy Leong, and I am joined by some very esteemed guests. First, ladies, Elisa Carrillo from Citrix's product management team.
Hi,
and
everybody.
Also, all the way from South Africa, Derek Schippers, who heads IT operations from PPS, Professional Provident Society.
Hi, everyone.
So this session is going to be one where we take a look into the journey of PPS towards SD-WAN and how that intersected with cloud as well as security. And so what we're going to do is basically have a dialogue that goes into what Derek's experience was, and we'll talk about some of the highlights along the way. And before we get into the details here, I'm obligated to put up this disclaimer that any capabilities or features that are mentioned here may be subject to change. So change is at hand in every industry, even in the financial services and insurance industry. What we're finding is that organizations are being disrupted. Digital is driving more agility. Organizations have to do more faster, be more profitable, expand into new markets. But in the financials, it's historically been very risk averse. So when it comes to technology, it's generally, let's take things at a very tepid pace. However, what we found is in the past decade or so, the pace of innovation has really accelerated. You've got a new generation of users and consumers with changing demographics, and they're basically saying, I want everything right now, on demand. I want it personalized, contextualized. I want it multi-channel. In other words, deliver my loan approvals, my documentations, my services on mobile as well as web, and get away from that old traditional paper-based mode of doing business. So what does this mean? Well, Gartner actually says that in financials, only about 50% of organizations have embarked on a true digital journey. But 1/3 of all those CIOs actually state that this is a huge imperative for the year 2019. And so obviously, as organizations such as PPS need to run faster, leaner, grow into new areas, and innovate, the network plays a critical role. Now, some of you may be going through this today. You're seeing a convergence of technologies at the branch or the WAN edge. And so you're dealing with silos of technology, routing, security, WAN optimization, applications. How do you bring all this together? We're clearly seeing a trend towards SaaS and cloud. And so with a typical enterprise running and managing over hundreds of SaaS applications, how do you integrate that with a replacement transformed network? And as organizations expand the network into the cloud, how do you protect not just the network, but also the cloud assets? How do you protect applications and users? And so that's what we're going to look a little bit more closely at today. But what we're finding is that these three migrations, or transformations, if you will, are not independent. In fact, they're very critically interdependent. So I'm going to roll a video just to give you an overview now into who PPS is, and actually ask Derek to give us an overview into the company's business.
You become part of an exclusive professional network that operates differently from other financial institutions. So, how does it work? When you take out insurance, you pay a premium. Part of the premium funds your benefits, and part is a profit margin for the company. As a policyholder, you receive the benefits should you need to claim. In a typical listed company, profits go to external shareholders. PPS embraces an ethos of mutuality, which means that it exists solely for the benefit of its members, and we distribute 100% of all our profits amongst members with qualifying products. PPS, for professionals, since 1941.
Okay, Derek, over to you. How about giving us an overview into the business of PPS and the customer base that you guys serve?
Thanks, Andy. So PPS, as stated, was formed in 1941 by a group of dentists who wanted a specific product for the healthcare society. Since then, we've grown into a business that looks after professionals. You have to be a degreed individual to be able to get one of our products. We're the largest insurance company in Africa with the ethos of mutuality. We, year on year, share all our profits with our members into a profit share account with them. We have about 25 offices spread across South Africa, in Namibia. We also have a business operating in Australia. Through these businesses, we also have then 4 different areas of the business. We've got the PPS insurance business, which looks after life insurance and products around that. We have PPS Investments, which is the investment arm of our business. We have PPS Short Term, which looks after short-term insurance, and then we've got the medical aid, ProfMed, which is looking after professionals with medical aid needs that we have there. In PPS Insurance, we have roughly about 150,000 members. Being part of us in the investment space, we have 30,000 clients and investors in that space. Being this type of business, with one side on the investments arm and the other side we have insurance arm, we struggled a little around connectivity, especially at month ends, when our brokers have this habit of submitting all cases that they collected throughout the month, right at month end, to start earning commission on those. During this period, the network couldn't keep up with all the load that we put on the network, with all the people connecting at the same time and the amount of processing that happened. And we struggled in that sense. We used to run an MPLS network, hub and spoke with a single breakout, and the different offices needed to connect to the data center that was hosted at our head office in the basement. In a nutshell, yeah, that's PPS. We strive to serve our members. We solely exist for our members.
Thanks, Derek. And talk to us for a moment about the physical footprint of PPS in terms of the number of locations, number of branches that you guys actually serve from a network point of view.
So, like I said, 24 branches spread across South Africa. Sizes differ from 6 people in an office to 600 in an office. So it's all different types of needs that these offices has. We have offices that's outside of the border, like in Namibia, which is a country just north of South Africa. So each office has its own specific needs to get back to Johannesburg, where the data center used to live before we embarked on our cloud journey.
Great. And so from a technology standpoint, you talked about MPLS. I think a lot of the audience understands some of the limitations associated with it. Did you also encounter performance problems for the applications? Were there quality challenges above and beyond just the fact that MPLS is expensive, difficult to provision? Maybe give us some perspective on that. That'd be great.
Yes, so with the MPLS network, we really struggled to see what is happening on the network. We didn't get proper stats from the provider. We had outages, we had slow connection speeds from all the offices, not just the small ones with smaller lines, but each and every office, even some of the bigger ones, had connection issues, especially around month end, but during the month as well. At inopportune times, the network would go down, the secondaries wouldn't kick in. It just was a mess for us, and we couldn't pinpoint where the problem was. We couldn't be proactive in trying to resolve this for the office staff and to get them to really do what they need to do.
And PPS also had Citrix virtual apps and desktops running in the data center as well. So I imagine there were some challenges associated with running that over MPLS.
Yes, absolutely. So all the offices needed to get back to head office. The Citrix virtual apps and desktops was installed in the data center at our head office in Johannesburg, and everybody had to connect back there. With these slow connection speeds and contention on the network, with everybody trying to do what they need to do at specifically month end, and I keep focusing on month end because that was our biggest pain period, but specifically then the performance just degraded and the guys couldn't access the applications, they couldn't get even onto the sites and to the applications, which is all web-based at the end of it, but still they couldn't get access there.
Right. So it sounds like PPS had the perfect setup for SD-WAN. And so as you looked at transitioning the legacy network away from hub and spoke, away from MPLS to one that was more distributed based on software-defined wide area networking, what were some of the criteria involved in why you looked at SD-WAN above and beyond just getting away from MPLS?
So about a year and a half ago, our board gave us the mandate to become a cloud-centric company. They gave us 3 years to get that done. we knew that if we wanted to move to cloud, MPLS was not the type of network that we could use, and it's not a cloud-ready network. It had a single breakout. We had to carry all the traffic across the network back to a single point to break out. That wasn't optimal. We started looking at new technologies, what we can use, and we investigated a couple of options. Even in the SD-WAN space, we decided eventually on Citrix, just because of the way the device manages the network, the way the intelligence is already built into the device. My IT staff don't have to go and sit and watch lines all the time and try to packet trace and see where the problem is. They can now get onto the device, and the device tells you, this is where my problem is, and I can go and I can fix this quite easily.
Yeah, and that's pretty consistent with what we hear from our customers and partners, that yes, it's important to have a replacement transport network, but at the end of the day, it's really about the experience. It's all about allowing applications to run better and faster, ultimately to make customers more productive. And actually, this just came out on the wire today, Derek,
Yes.
Really citing PPS as an innovator for having migrated CVAD, Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops, not only away from a data center, but to Google Cloud. And so in line with some of the announcements we heard this morning during the keynote, PPS is one of those leading edge companies who's actually taken that jump into, one, getting onto GCP, and secondly, also, as I understand, looking at a multi-cloud strategy further down the road as well. And so as we talk about applications and the importance of that, Elisa, maybe if you can give us some perspective as far as the way we've designed our SD-WAN with an application-first perspective. Some point of view on that would be great.
Definitely. So as organizations grow, they need to build out an infrastructure that gives them the scalability and the flexibility to use multiple type of transport, multiple different deployment styles. And SD-WAN, our SD-WAN offers on top of that the application experience and reliability that go with it to allow organizations like PPS to really embrace the cloud and embrace different type of applications, including CVAD. We have our design of SD-WAN relies on features that are really designed to avoid oversubscription and bandwidth waste, like dual-sided QoS. We also have packet duplication to be able to provide the best application experience for loss-sensitive applications. We have metrics on a per packet basis to really decide where to send the traffic to react very fast to link brownouts. And we have a very fast failover, one of the best in the industry, to provide reliability on top of that. When it comes to CVAD traffic, like Derek explained, we also apply all these benefits not just to the HDS session, but we are able to pry it open and assign priorities and QoS to the inner channels. And that makes a lot of difference in the way the application experience works for CVAD.
And you mentioned failover. I believe Derek and PPS has actually benefited from those capabilities. In fact, that was one of the major criteria that PPS had looked at when they evaluated SD-WAN, the ability to do almost instantaneous link failover to basically ensure that that experience and the applications are continuous.
Absolutely, that was critical for us. With the experience on the MPLS, we knew when a line goes down, it can take up to 20 minutes, sometimes an hour for the secondary to pick up. It just didn't work for us. So part of the criteria and one of the most critical facts was the quick failover that we have. The multi-routing that we have, we decided on a model where we have two different service providers with two different fiber rings, different journeys outside of the office. So we completely try and eliminate a breakage where one line will go down and you have both lines down because of the paths that they share. So absolutely critical was the failover and the fact that they can use both lines to send traffic, QoS on both lines, build the packets on the other side again, and just carry on.
Fantastic. So Lisa, what else are we announcing or introducing that actually helps drive a better application performance?
Definitely. So first of all the features that we talked about and the benefits that PPS saw are available through a wide range of appliances that constitute our appliance portfolio. We go from the very small branch, the 210 appliance, all the way to the data center, and we are introducing our 6100, which is complementing the data center appliance portfolio for organizations that need to be able to scale up to 20 gig of encrypted traffic.
Great. Now, thus far, we haven't talked about security, and that was one of my points initially. Derek, how important was that as you looked at switching over from MPLS to SD-WAN?
So with MPLS, the security was easy. You had a single breaker, you had one point of control. Introducing SD-WAN into the factor created a big attack surface because we wanted to break out each office from the office. Just to eliminate the extra time it needs to travel to a single breakout. So security was really top of mind. It was one of the key features which we looked at when we decided on a technology.
Great, great. And Elisa, what's your perspective on what other components of security from an end-to-end perspective that enterprises ought to consider when they switch over to SD-WAN?
Yeah, so typically security traditionally is implemented at the data center, but with the introduction of direct internet breakout, as Derek mentioned, you need to make security a key requirement in your design. In fact, as you break out locally from the branch or from the edge, now you have the attack surface immediately increases and bad stuff can come in. So you need to implement security very close to the potential threat entry point. And so whether you embrace a cloud service or whether you want to run it security on-prem, you need to have the flexibility to be able to integrate seamlessly security in your SD-WAN through automation, through simplicity, and also through various deployment styles, whether it is cloud or on-prem, and with the flexibility to embracing different vendors, the vendors and the ecosystem that when it comes to security better fits your needs.
So you're suggesting that security isn't a one-size-fits-all?
Definitely not. So security is not a one-size-fits-all, and it has to be considered a layer approach. So when it comes to Citrix, we do take security very seriously by providing different models and different ways to weigh in security in SD-WAN. First of all, we partner with different vendors. We partner with Zscaler, we partner with Palo Alto for cloud services, but we also provide automation so that your IT teams don't have to swivel around and manually go set up a cloud service or an on-prem appliance. We do that for you in an automated fashion through simple clicks through our SD-WAN orchestrator.
And Derek and PPS, you guys have been able to benefit from this automation that Citrix has actually built between its SD-WAN and Zscaler, the secure internet gateway, as an example.
That's great, yes, yeah. Part of the decision, yeah, and as Elisa said, you need to multi-layer your security stack. We decided on Zscaler, so we're integrating with Zscaler for a breakout from the office, so the office will connect straight into Zscaler Cloud. They will distribute the traffic to the data centers that we have around the world.
Great. And so, Elisa, we've also got some new capabilities we're announcing this week with respect to Palo Alto Networks. Maybe you can share a little bit about that as well.
Absolutely. So I mentioned Zscaler. PPS is embracing them. We are now partnering also with Palo Alto, both on the cloud side as well as to offer on-premise security in our SD-WAN appliance. We are automating connectivity to Palo Alto Global Protect. Through Palo Alto Global Protect, you have a way to set up and enforce security policies centrally for all users and all locations. And we automate the setup of the tunnels to Palo Alto Global Protect seamlessly through our SD-WAN orchestrator. We are also very proud to announce that we are extending that partnership with Palo Alto by enabling our 1100 appliance to be able to run Palo Alto security workloads on-prem, right on our appliance. With that, we want to offer the flexibility to our customers to choose between a cloud model or an on-premises model if they decide to do so. But we also want to keep automation and simplicity top of mind by allowing the provisioning of the Palo Alto software centrally to all the branches that are part of the deployment through a couple of simple clicks through SD-WAN Orchestrator. With that, we still want to maintain networking and security policy management separation, and we do that on purpose because oftentimes organizations and IT teams look for that ability to keep networking management separated from firewall and security management. And we do that by fully embracing Panorama, the Palo Alto management tool for the firewall security management on the 1100 appliance.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. So as Elisa shared about, our focus is on automation. We actually believe in making IT tasks, eliminating that swivel chair capability, just making things easier. And so what we do today is we have the ability to actually automate spin up of instances in the cloud. We have the ability to do zero-touch provisioning at the branch, and clearly for security services and moving forward more cloud services as well, our focus or approach is really just giving that multi-click simplicity from our orchestration service. And so this is something we're proud to introduce that's available not just to service providers, but also for enterprise customers as well, and it's consumable via Citrix Cloud. And so, Derek, it's been a relatively fast journey for PPS to migrate towards SD-WAN into the cloud. Obviously, for organizations to do this, you've got to have a business case. You don't do it for technology's sake. You really want to make sure that there is some ROI, that you've got the right TCO model associated with migration to SD-WAN. Talk to us a little bit about what PPS has seen in the 10 months or so that you've had this rolled out.
So initially, while doing the business case and the study on this, we predicted an ROI of 12 months. After rolling out the SD-WAN, that we will be able to make our return. We're currently sitting on month 10, and I'm confident that we will hit the ROI before we even get to month 12. It's been an amazing journey. It's just, we saved so much money in deploying this. The customer experience for our endpoint users just increased significantly. It just makes it for a better workforce.
Fantastic. So in terms of what PPS has migrated to the cloud, so you've taken CVAD into Google Cloud. You have migrated some of your core CRM, ERP, your insurance applications, and moved that to Google Cloud as well. What's next, and how does that involve SD-WAN?
That's great. So we decided to turn the model on its head. Usually when you start a migration to cloud, you start with your easy applications, your tier 3 applications. We needed a performance boost on our tier 1 applications, which is our main insurance application, our CRM and ERP application. We decided to move that first. Now that that's running in the cloud and all the kinks have been sorted out, which was a dangerous move from our side to get that done. But we got it done in a weekend. The next things we need to do now is to move our business intelligence, which is your tier 2 type of applications. We need to move that to the cloud as well. And then tier 3 will follow suit. We will probably be fully cloud-centric by end of next year with all our applications there.
That's wonderful. And some of your business critical applications are from Microsoft as well, right? So from what I understand, PPS is looking at a multi-cloud, hybrid cloud approach where you've started with GCP, but down the road, considering also Microsoft and Azure as well.
That's right, yes. So our strategy is to have a multi-cloud strategy. We believe you cannot be locked into one vendor only. We would like the ability to be able to move around as we see fit, where we find the best workload for us will be. So Azure is on the cards. We currently moving some applications into Azure. Our finance application, main ERP application is going to Azure at the moment. We marketed that one there. And then going forward, I would like to be able to move between GCP and Azure seamlessly. And I believe Google has launched a application, Anthos, and Citrix can also help with that. Citrix does the same thing, where you can move between these different cloud spaces seamlessly and effortlessly.
So in terms of the application experience, what has the feedback been from the employees who have been on this network? Has it changed the way they can access files and resources?
Absolutely. We have a much happier workforce. People used to dread on the old MPLS days with the data center in-house. They used to dread coming to work because they knew it's going to be slow. They knew they're going to struggle to open the applications. Even just logging on took them 5 to 10 minutes sometimes. Now they get in, they can easily get onto work. Some of the guys can work from home. We can just give them a virtual session onto CVAD, and people are just generally more acceptable to what IT does for them at the moment.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Any additional perspective from you, Elisa, on what you've seen with PPS and how that aligns with our other customers and what they're looking at doing?
Yes, so definitely PPS is a great example because they find benefits in pretty much all the things that we do. So when it comes to choose SD-WAN vendors, organization needs to keep in mind several things. Of course, the agility and the flexibility to choose between different deployment models and transports, the application experience and the resiliency of the deployment. But having said that, they need to also make sure that there's a good ROI and they embrace a model that allows them to keep capital expenses as well as ongoing cost in check. And I believe that that Derek has demonstrated that that's what he was able to achieve through Citrix SD-WAN. Having said that, though, the question remains of where to put security. So first of all, security is not a one-size-fits-all, and so the flexibility of being able to choose a deployment model, whether it is on cloud or on-premise, whether it is a security vendor of your choice, where you can easily fit into our SD-WAN security, our SD-WAN solution into a security ecosystem that you already have, is also one of the key flexibility choices that we give to you.
Great. And so Derek, maybe to sum things up in terms of your 10 to 12 month journey with SD-WAN and cloud, it's probably fair to say you guys had a strong return on investment coupled with application experience that really drove productivity.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, we will be getting an RA within the 12-month period. We have a vastly improved user experience, end user experience. We can now send people working from home, giving them a virtual session. People anywhere in the world can just use any type of device, any mobile device with a session on that, and he can access his desktop and applications and continue working.
That's great, that's great. And so something else we may have heard this morning in the keynote is that our SD-WAN is a key part of Citrix managed desktops. And again, taking this Citrix on Citrix approach, what we do is we actually automate some of the capabilities for Citrix managed desktops. And so as an administrator is going through the provisioning and setup process for CMD, SD-WAN is just a matter of click to provision as part of that process. And so talking about, excuse me, the automation Elisa alluded to, we've actually made it that much easier where we can actually spin up a VPX SD-WAN appliance within Azure as part of that process. And so again, same seamless experience for customers who are familiar with Citrix Cloud and the same benefits associated, pardon me, with SD-WAN carry over to that model as well. And so whether your connections are between the data center and the cloud in Azure or between the branch and Azure, we're basically providing those highly resiliency connections with all the performance, the visibility, the application visibility. And so everything that our customers are familiar with between a branch and a data center extend out to the Azure cloud as well in the CMD or Windows Virtual Desktop context. Now, something else that our customers have been asking us for a long time is Okay, Citrix, you guys can get me connected to IaaS and PaaS. If I want to go to Azure, that's great. You give me all those great reliability capabilities, all the visibility into my applications. But what if I'm connecting to Workday or to another Salesforce.com or CRM, ERP application? I obviously can't deploy another SD-WAN appliance, virtual or physical, in front of a SaaS cloud just due to the fact of the way they're architected. And so what we are going to make generally available in the next couple weeks is what we're calling our Cloud Direct service. And so essentially what we're giving customers is the ability to connect to all these popular SaaS applications, in fact, thousands of them, through currently 10 points of presence, and this is going to expand very rapidly. But basically, we're giving customers the ability to get the same level of resiliency, performance, and visibility connecting to these SaaS services. And so stay tuned for more information about this coming shortly. The last point about this is it's automated from our orchestration service. So in the same vein as what Elisa referred to with security services and some of these other capabilities in the branch and data center, we're actually automating connections to this Cloud Direct service as well. And so that's what we had to share with you today. It was really a perspective into the experience of PPS. We trust you guys found that useful, and you know, there's information. We want to make sure that these sessions meet the mark for you, so please take a second to provide your feedback and ratings. We've got many more SD-WAN sessions to come over the next couple days, and so these are essentially a sampling of what's to come. We've got other breakout sessions with customers, especially in the healthcare area, and also we've got some fireside chats with notable customers such as eBay tomorrow. And other than that, appreciate everyone's time. We can open it up for Q&A at this point.
If I may add, there's also a set of demos in the expo floor, so security is featured there too. If you're interested and you would like to walk around, we'll be happy to walk you through some of our demos.
Great. Thank you. All right. Yeah, feel free to step up to the mic, sir.
Hi. Pretty good session. Thank you much for the information. I noticed segregation of network versus security functionalities for the product. And you already have partnered with Palo Alto for your initial offerings. Do you have any plans for partnering with Checkpoint or Fortinet in subsequent months?
Yes, we do have, we started off with Palo Alto, but we really want to have an ecosystem of third-party vendors that we partner with. Some of the vendors you mentioned are in our pipeline, and we are definitely eager to work with you if you have suggestions on what vendors will make a difference in your deployments. Okay.
And secondly, I have a SDX appliance or appliances in my organization. Would I be able to test drive, for example, a virtual SD-WAN server in the cloud just now to see the typical performance behaviors with the product, or would I have to essentially sign up and subscribe first?
Let's talk offline about that. We do have those capabilities. We haven't exactly productized those, and so we'd be happy to work with you. Okay, well, we hope you guys have a good rest of Synergy, and we'll see you at the booth.
Great, thanks.